that Jen introduced me to. And this amazing guest, I haven't yet met in person, but we will. And when I say in person, I obviously mean in Zoom. We've messenger chatted backwards and forwards. And he believes in using the power of your voice, as I said, to help believers amplify their kingdom message. And when you amplify that message, that little bit of oil, you create kingdom impact. Michael Fritzius is the founder of Pod, Podcastify, me. And I am not going to take any of his time, but in this session, you'll discover how to use your voice to connect, serve, and shine, not just as a marketing strategy, but as a calling. Please welcome the insightful and empowering Michael Fritzius, commonly known as Fritz.
Love it. Excellent. Thank you. And now you can't say that we haven't met yet because it's official. We finally met. So congrats.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, in a little bit, I'm going to talk about leveraging podcasting as a way to amplify the voice that God's given you. But since we're all believers here, I want to take some time to share some encouragement and dig into an area that I think all Christians tend to struggle in some capacity. And what I'm sharing is the concept that as believers, as Christians, as followers of Christ, the Lord calls us biblically to be the best that we can be. We're supposed to love him with our heart, soul, mind, body, spirit, everything. With your full chest, you got to love him as hard as you can. And he gives us a voice to share the message with other people. Now, the challenge is that too often we tend to conflate the idea of ambition with pride. We think that having a voice and using it means that we're somehow being arrogant. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say this in Christian circles. Who am I to get my voice out there? Who am I to think that I have something valuable to share? Like, how dare I go out in the world and help people in a way that maybe only I know how because I'm the only one that's lived my life experience the way I have. I'll just stay small. That's being humble, right? That God calls us to be humble. We should be small. We should be meek. We should be, aerodynamic, right? Like I just want to slip through life. I don't want to make any waves. I don't want to be a sinful person. I don't want to be perceived as such. So I'm just gonna keep quiet. I want to challenge you with that. Wherever you are on that spectrum, I want you to think that when you feel fear about speaking up and speaking out, when you feel like being ambitious in that regard and getting your message out there, using your voice as a kingdom platform, if that makes you feel scared, I want you to understand that that is an attack from the enemy. The enemy wants nothing more than to shut you up. If you're out there talking to people, especially about the Lord, but if you're talking about the way the Lord has worked mightily in your life, if you're sharing about ways that you have overcome health challenges, financial distress, marriage troubles, maybe you've lost a child, maybe you have had suicidal thoughts and you came out the other side. And if you're not sharing your story, it's because Satan is trying to keep you quiet because your story is powerful, your voice is powerful. I think back to the Gospels and what Jesus did during his ministry. And notably, I think we all agree that we're called to model our lives off of Christ. I don't see anywhere in scripture that he held himself back. I don't see anywhere in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, or even Acts where he second guessed himself. He was decisive. And when he decided to take action, he did the thing. He got boisterous. You kind of got to get a little a little testy when you're making a whip and you're flipping tables and driving the money changers out of the temple, right? But when you have a message and you have a voice, you should feel empowered and encouraged to share whatever message, whatever burden God puts on your heart. If He puts a scroll in your mouth to get out there and share something, do so with reckless abandon. Okay. So, my spiritual gift is the gift of encouragement. Anytime I have a chance to minister to people, every time I see somebody that's really struggling in an area where they have a spirit of fear that's on them, I look at that and I say, I don't like that. It's not that I don't like the person, I love the person, but fear just irritates me. It gets in the way, like it's an emotional response. But when it's put on us by the enemy, that's an act of war. And I respond in kind. So this is my shoot back at the enemy. I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to be afraid to speak. All right. So carry that with you. That's the one thing that I can leave you with today. It's that. So talking in terms of podcasting, I love podcasting. And what I've realized over the last 6 years of being in the podcasting world is it on its own is an amazing way to reach people at scale with a message, any message, especially one that is loaded with the love of the Lord Jesus Christ. You can reach literally millions of people. And I've personally rebooted my entire network from scratch just from podcasting. I've met so many amazing folks, and there's something, I don't want to say magical about the platform, but I've yet to find another medium that allows me to just knit my heart together with somebody else, even remotely. Most of the people that I've met over podcasting, I've never met them in person. They're the same situation Nikki and I have been in, right? We've never met in person, but we've met online plenty. And what I've found fairly recently is that the amplification of the voice has a lot to do with clarity. A lot to do with clarity. I dare say it has everything to do with clarity because the Lord doesn't call us to go out and share a muddled message. We're not called to direct people to just, hey, let's just kind of go out and go somewhere, have fun, storming the cast. No, He has a specific direction that He wants us to go. Ultimately, we drive people to Christ, but we can use our businesses to bring that about. As we're seeking to minister to people through what we all do in business, no matter what it is, we're able to bless people at scale. When we're using podcasting to draw more people to our business so that we have more paying clients, so that we can improve their lives drastically, that goes a long way. But we have to be clear about what we're bringing people toward. So I'm going to apply into a tactic and a strategy that I share with people. I've shared this dozens of times in lots of groups, and I want to share it with you today because there's a few faces in here I haven't seen yet. So it's going to be new for you, but it's old hat for me. So clarity, there's three kinds of clarity. When it comes to being a podcast guest, for example, the three kinds of clarity that you really need are clarity in your offer. You need clarity in the path to get to that offer. And you need clarity of the kind of people you need in your network. So I'm going to drill down in each one of those because what I see a lot of people do when they get into the podcasting world is they run out there and they get on shows and then they come find me 3 years later and they're like, Fritz, I've been a guest on 200 episodes, and they wear it like a badge of honor. And I say, awesome. But how much money have you earned from that? And they're like, $0. And I'm like, well, that stinks. Like, it would be nice if you could actually make some money. So here's how to actually do it with clarity. So clarity of offer is a single offer that you can just pour your time, effort, attention, love, energy, skills, everything into and present that as what it is that you're doing for the world. And I'll tell you personally, I struggled with this a long time. I came from the school of thought where the more control you give to a potential client, the better. I would present them a menu, an a la carte. Hey, you want a little bit of this, a little bit of that? That's great. I'm going to make sure that I can take care of you. It's all good. We'll pick a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We'll put some bespoke offers together. Here you go. And my sales cycle was abysmally long. I would spend weeks putting proposals together, sweating the details. And then I'd give it to them and they'd say, let me think about it. Oh my goodness, which, that means probably no. Spent so long just to get an objection that I now no longer had energy to overcome. But when I had the clarity of the offer, when I was able to say, here is a specific problem that I know the people I most powerfully serve need help with. They're not coming right out and saying, Fritz, I need help with this particular thing. They're saying, I hurt in this way. I'm really struggling with this. I've never gotten results doing this. And when you hear that from, 50 to 100 people, it's like there's kind of a pattern here. What is an offer that I can go to market with that I can confidently say, if I could just get in front of the right people to tell them about this, they're going to want to come closer. They're not going to, it's going to be magnetic. They can just, come attract closer. Right. And anytime the offer changes, it shouldn't feel like you're just stapling stuff to the side of it. It should feel like, hey, I'm going to add something or I'm going to take something away that will more holistically solve the problem that I'm seeking to solve with my people. Like I didn't used to include this particular feature, but now I know how to lace that in. It doesn't feel just bolted onto the side. It more completely solves the problem and it makes that offer a lot more attractive. So clarity of offer is the first one. When you are really, really clear on your offer, people will try to beat a path to your door. Don't let them. Give them a path. Make it super easy for them to come closer. I don't want anybody having to jump through hoops or go on a quest or sacrifice a goat or anything. It's like just push a button, come closer. I want to tell you about this and I know you want to know about it. So just take a few steps closer. I'd love to make the job easy on you. So that gets into funnels, landing pages, anything that makes it simple for people to say, I want to find out more about that. What's the easiest thing that they can do? Maybe they can join your mailing list. Maybe they can book a quick 15-minute call. No pressure. It's not sales or anything unless they want it to be. That's different. That's a different situation altogether. But make it simple for them to come closer to you so that you can more personally share with them what it is that you do. And because you've got such a clear offer, because you've made it so simple, because you've made it so holistically sound, they're going to identify with that and they'll say, wow, I think I fit that. I think I fit that criteria. I think I need to find out more. I think I need to buy from you. Maybe not right now, but later. Let me go like beg, borrow, steal, make some money, and I can afford it, right? They're not saying no, but they're saying, this is so clear that I really want to get closer to you about this just because you get me. I know that you get me because you so eloquently explained the very problem that I am struggling with. And it's obvious that either you've experienced it so much yourself and you've come out the other side, or you've been around enough people and you intuitively know what it is that I'm going through. I got to hang around you. I got to hang around you more. So clarity of the path to get to the offer. And then the clarity of the network you have around you. This is something I'm continuing to work on, but when I decided to make a wholesale spring cleaning run on my network on Facebook, I said, there's a lot of people that I know I'm friends with. I have 3,500 friends on Facebook. And I looked through and I said, who's actually engaging on my posts? I'm writing quality content based on what I'm hearing from the people that actually engage, but what percentage of people are actually going so far as to dare to click the like button? It was a very small percentage. And I'm like, why is that? Well, in part because I had a lot of people that were in my friends list that were from my old business. I had a lot more people that were just colleagues, friends, family. There were a few people that had passed on. There were a lot of people that were in there that, because of the focus I have now in the podcasting world, the content just wasn't dinging for them. It wasn't resonating. They would see it and they would just say, cool story, and keep scrolling. There's nothing in there for them to grab onto. And so I decided, okay, well, if I need to cultivate my network with the right people, then first I need to be intentional about who I let take that step into my more inner circle, not my innermost circle, but it's a difference between being a friend and a follower, right? Like a friend is like, ooh, yeah, but a follower, anybody can follow you. But whoever it is that I bring closer to me, it has to be somebody that's closer to my ideal client profile, or somebody who knows my ideal client profile and can get me in touch with more of those people. I can't be a people pleaser and send a friend requests to everybody and accept every friend request under the sun that comes to me. That dilutes my energy. That muffles my voice. I'm trying to reserve as much awesome, creative, heart centered energy for the people that best can hear what it is that I've got to say. My message is not for everybody. Not even Jesus's message was for everybody. He was picky about who he shared it with. He attracted the certain kind of people that he needed to resonate with, and he literally pushed people away that weren't a right fit for him. The Pharisees and Sadducees, a very small number of those people, actually gravitated toward him with the intent to learn. Most of them gravitated toward him with the intent to combat and try to hang him up on a dilemma, on the horns of a dilemma. His message wasn't for them. I have to be really particular who I bring close to me. And I would encourage you as well. Be particular about the people that you bring close to you, because the more people you invite into your network that aren't actually adding value, at a bare minimum, if they're not liking your posts, it's going to sound bad, but they're dead weight, right? So anytime a an algorithm runs its job, Facebook's job, for example, and I'm speaking in terms of Facebook, Facebook's job is to keep as many eyeballs, ear holes, thumbs, and attention, as much of that as possible, engaged on the platform, because that's how they make money. You're not paying for access to Facebook. So the more time you can spend on there scrolling, the more they can advertise to you, the more that they can, pour into you, right? If your content isn't resonating with the network you already have, then Facebook is going to say, well, this person's kind of writing some not good content. It's subpar. I'm not going to show this to as many people because hardly anybody's responding. And it's not because the content is bad. It's because the network quality is not conducive to people that would react to your posts anyway. So find the people that aren't reacting very often. And if they really aren't your target demographic, unfriend them. It's not personal. You're using this as a platform for business. Invite people in who do engage on your posts that are in other groups. If you're in groups about public speaking, if you're in groups that are faith-based, if you're in groups about podcasting and you write a post over there and somebody reacts to it, friend them, send them a friend request. Worst they can do is just ignore it, say no. But those are the people that you want to have closer to you, so that when they do start seeing the posts on your normal feed that are more salesy, that are talking about cohorts and things that you're putting together and offers and sales and things like that that you can do because it's your feed, they're a lot more likely to gravitate toward you and say, I need to talk with you a little bit more. How can we find out more? Well, take this freshly mown path that I just mowed for you and come closer. Let's book a call together. So clarity in those three areas, once you have gotten massive clarity on your offer, and if you don't do anything else from what I told you today, right? Master getting clarity on your offer. Pour your time, effort, and intention into a singular offer, not an everything under the sun offer, but one that holistically and elegantly and powerfully solves the problem that your best clients have. And once you have clarity in all three of these areas, then you can more powerfully go out and start guesting on podcasts. There is no shortage of podcasts out there looking for amazing guests. And I'll tell you from experience, if you come in with a solid offer, a solid and clear path to get to the offer, and a solid concept of who it is you need to have closer to you, that will magnify your voice a ton. There is a qualitative difference between somebody who is a little milk toast about, like, I do, some of the stuff and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and somebody that says, I get people booked on podcasts and I get those bookings to result in business. Like, it is a night and day difference. And that confidence comes through in your voice. Jesus knew exactly why he was here. He wasn't like figuring it out as he goes along. Like, I don't know, I'm 33 years old. Like, am I doing the right thing, God? No, he knew exactly what he was here to do. He knew the whole time he was here what he was here to do. He was on mission. He did not deviate. He was 100% focused. He didn't get distracted. He didn't turn to the right or to the left. Nothing. He was on lock. He was on lock. We should be on lock as well. We should absolutely know, yes, Chad, your purpose and mission. God has crafted you, engineered you, built you from scratch to be here for a reason that glorifies him the most. And it is our job, our duty, and our pleasure to figure out what that is and then to go forth and use our voice powerfully. That's what I have to present to you today. I do hope this has truly been encouraging. If I could wave a magic wand and say, hey, I want this particular thing to go away for everybody, I want Christians to not feel like, oh my goodness, it's so prideful for me to get out there and talk. Like, is God going to be mad at me? No, he's your heavenly father. He's your daddy. If you're off track, like if you're not doing something in a sinful way and you're like, I'm going to go this direction, he'll kind of steer you the right direction. He's going to whomp you upside the head with a holy 2x4. He's going to guide you. He wants you to take steps. He wants you to go forward. My father-in-law told me years ago, he's like, you can't steer a parked car. And I'm like, man, that's the most profound thing I've ever heard you say. And it could fit on a Snapple cap or a fortune cookie wrapper. It's like, I've lived by that. It's given me so much encouragement to just do stuff, go forward. You're not sinning. God's behind you, pushing you, going, yeah, do more of that. Go. Yes. So that's what I've got. Open for questions. Who has some? Hit me with your hardest one. Yes, sir, Chad.
What is the fastest way to connect with podcasters who specifically have your target audience?
Oh, good question. So, I mean, podcast hosts tend to attract the people that are most like them. So I have a strong suspicion that there are probably podcast hosts out there that are in your target client profile. Like if you happen to want to work with them and they have a podcast, I'd say get with them because they're going to have a lot of people in their audience that are a lot like them. Birds of a feather flock together. So it's worked well for me. Miss Jen.
Hello, hello. Wonderful presentation as ever. I could listen to you for ages because I think what you say is so beautifully eloquent and simple and given us food for thought. Just wanted to ask you, people, who want to talk about their faith. Oh, we ended up with a picture. I don't know how we ended up with a picture of flowers. Let's see if we can get back onto to screen again. Steve, we have a picture of flowers here, but they're
Wasn't
very
me.
beautiful flowers. Nonetheless, there we are. We're back again. Roses. There we go. How lovely. What wanted to ask you is, obviously we deal a lot with people that want to be on podcasts or want to be on summits and such. And you were speaking about people being remunerated. Often you find that people, when they want to talk about their faith or their heart-centered people, money can be a bit of a, can get in the way because because of of the love of what we want to share. We want to do it, yet we all have bills to pay. We want to do everything for free, but we have perhaps children to feed and lights to keep on and stuff. How do you help people get around that sort of sticky situation with charging appropriately, or being remunerated respectfully?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think across the board, the reason why a lot of Christians are like kind of worried, concerned about that is a misquoting of the verse that says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And we kind of reduce that down to money is the root of all evil. And then we reduce that further to say money is evil. And then our brains are like, money bad. And so we feel so weird putting a price tag on things. But the reason why money is around in the first place, it's a tool. Like if we didn't have money, we'd have to trade beaver pelts for canned beans, and then canned beans for, windshield wipers, like whatever. We'd have a barter system. So the money is just a tool. It's a form of energy. And when we take that away and say, okay, well, does God want us dirt poor? Does he want us scrounging around? Does he want us like that? Or can we realize that the devil's coffers are full? He is using money to further his kingdom. Why can we not use money to further the kingdom of the Lord? I made that realization just a couple of years ago, and it's been a night and day difference. Like I'm more wealth minded. I'm not afraid to make piles of money because I'm not looking to sit on it like Scrooge McDuck and be like, look how rich I am. Nebuchadnezzar did that. Didn't work out well for him. I got better things to do than to, live in a field for 7 years. I got stuff to do, right? So money is a good thing. It's a thing that God can use. And so just kind of making that mental switch has helped a lot. There were,
Absolutely.
there were a couple other questions in the chat, and then I see
There
Patricia's
were
got her hand
indeed, yes,
raised.
and Patricia has her hand up as well. So let's double check the chat, and Patricia, over to you.
You're muted, love.
There we
There we
go. Okay. My question is, I have just begun podcasting, and I'm presenting people, and they are giving their stories of how God has taken them from a mess to a message. And my question about, do I present my one offer on the podcast I'm doing, or where does the income come from us having a podcast?
Yeah, great question. So if the host gives you an opportunity to present the offer, then yes, definitely present it. If not, present the opportunity to follow the person. So if somebody follows you, they're going to start seeing your content. I'm assuming that you're going to be talking about your offer in your own content. It's your floor, it's your show. You can do it. So if they start seeing it, then they start to go on that path to come closer. They're going to gravitate more towards you. So that's how you make the money. And I think this is where a lot of podcast guests think that the only way to make money is to get paid to be a guest, or as a podcast host, you got to be in the top 1%, start getting fat sponsorships. It's like, no, you can get money by selling your stuff. And you can get that a lot faster than waiting for sponsorships, waiting to get on the shows that are willing to pay you.
So, Fritz, I have the inverse question also in the chat. Should you pay to be on podcasts? And I know that this is very controversial for speakers in general. People have different beliefs about these things. But just in case we run out of time, before we do that, tell us about your gifts, please.
Yes, the gift is a live cast interview. So it is like a podcast on steroids. I'll spend an hour of time with you identifying what awesome questions that I can ask on a future interview that includes not just you and me, but up to 85 other people. So if you've got a network of people that you think, man, if they could just hear me opine about some awesome stuff, they probably would become clients. Let's do a live cast.
No, that's awesome. And is that your regular gift, your VIP gift, or is it one gift for all?
Yes, that is the regular gift. So the VIP gift is actually a lot bigger. So that's where I actually get you booked on 10 podcasts, and then we build a sales funnel around each of those. So it is a good, worthwhile investment of time. It's something that can actually get you money. If you're clear on your offer and you'd like to talk about that, I would love to dig into that with you.
That is absolutely amazing. And don't you love the way the theme of things has gone through? And, you know, Fritz, I'm sorry, can't call you Michael anymore.
You
Jane
can.
calls you
It's
Fritz.
fine. It's going to be
Jane calls you
confusing.
Fritz. I've got Fritz stuck in the brain.
There we
And
go.
Fritz reminded us here that a voice isn't just speaking, it's actually serving. And this is a theme we're hearing here this morning. Every time we use our voice with courage and clarity, we amplify heaven's message here on earth. And isn't that what it's all about? Because you weren't given a story, a message, or a voice just to stay small. You really do get to put it out there. We've heard in the other talks, it heals. It brings in profit. Oh, there I said it. We get to make profit. We do get to make profit. And it's what Fritz was saying. We serve a mighty king. How does it reflect on him if we are living in lack? We serve a God of abundance. He wants abundance for us as well. So I thank you so much. And when we speak that out with courage and clarity, we do amplify that message and we create more kingdom impact.